Chupa Chups was on the brink of bankruptcy but turned into a $4 billion giant. How did they pull off this remarkable turnaround, and where are they now? You see it everywhere. Gas stations, supermarkets, even at your local newsagent, with that unmistakable Daisy logo. But have you ever wondered how it all began? Who was the genius behind this sweet sensation? And what twists and turns shaped the brand into the global icon it is today? Buckle up as we dive into the sugary and surprisingly dramatic history of Chupa Chups. Our story begins in Catalonia, Spain, in the hands of a young man named Enric Bernat. Born into a family of bakers and confectioners, you could say sugar was practically in his veins. But Enric wasn't content with just continuing the family business as it was. Oh no, he had bigger dreams. He wanted to revolutionize the way we enjoyed sweets. But little did he know his journey would be anything but smooth. In the early 1950s, Enric took over an apple jam factory in northern Spain. The factory was struggling, and Enric was determined to turn things around. But when he pitched his idea of a lollipop, yes, the very one we know today, his investors, well, they weren't exactly sold on it. In fact, they walked out. Can you imagine? The idea that would one day conquer the world was at first rejected. But Enric wasn't about to give up. Instead, he took a bold step. He bought out the company, renaming it Chupa Chups. Now, this wasn't just a name pulled out of thin air. It was derived from the Spanish verb chupar, meaning to suck, perfectly fitting for a lollipop brand. With full control, Enric could finally bring his vision to life, but not without facing some tough challenges first. Chupa Chups quickly gained popularity in Spain, but Enric wasn't satisfied with just local success. He had his eyes set on global domination. The 60s and 70s were a time of aggressive expansion, with Chupa Chups crossing borders and oceans. But this rapid growth came with its own set of challenges. Different cultures, different tastes, and new markets meant that Enric had to constantly adapt his strategies. And then there were the business moves that didn't quite pan out. In the 1980s, Enric made a bold attempt to take over Iberia de Seguros, a prominent insurance company. The plan? To use the profits to fund a new Catalan investment bank. But, plot twist, it didn't work out. The deal fell through, leading to significant financial losses. However, in a strange twist of fate, this failure led to something remarkable. Enric became the owner of Gaudi's Casa Batlló, one of Barcelona's most iconic buildings. It's funny how life works, isn't it? What seemed like a major business blunder turned into an unexpected opportunity. But while this acquisition was significant, it wasn't the only turning point in Chupa Chups' history. As Chupa Chups grew in popularity, so did the need for a strong brand image, something that would make the lollipop stand out in an increasingly competitive market. Enric knew that he needed more than just a catchy name. He needed a visual identity that would be as memorable as the product itself. Enter Salvador Dalí, the eccentric genius known for his surreal, dreamlike paintings. You might be wondering, how did a man like Dalí, who spent his days painting melting clocks and bizarre landscapes, end up designing a lollipop logo? Well, Enric was nothing if not a visionary. In 1969, he approached Dalí with a simple request: to create a logo that would make Chupa Chups unforgettable. And Dalí didn't disappoint. In less than an hour over lunch, he sketched what would become one of the most recognizable logos in the world, a bright daisy with the brand name proudly displayed in the center. But Dalí didn't just stop there. He insisted that the logo be placed on top of the lollipop, so it would always be visible, even when displayed on store shelves. It was a masterstroke of both art and marketing. The Chupa Chups logo, simple yet bold, became a symbol of the brand's playful and creative spirit. With Dalí's logo leading the way, Chupa Chups soared to new heights. The brand expanded to over 150 countries, becoming a global phenomenon. But even as it grew, the Bernat family was not immune to the pressures of running such a vast enterprise. Enric, always the visionary, decided it was time to pass the reins to the next generation. In 1991, he handed control of the company to his son, Enric Bernat. It was a move to ensure that Chupa Chups remained a family legacy, but the world of business was changing rapidly, and so were the challenges. By the late 1990s and early 2000s, the confectionery market had become fiercely competitive. New brands were emerging, and old rivals were stepping up their game. Chupa Chups, despite its global presence, needed to stay relevant. The company experimented with new flavors, packaging, and even launched a range of merchandise. But as the pressures mounted, it became clear that maintaining family ownership might not be sustainable in the long term. It was a difficult decision, but in 2006, the Bernat family decided to sell Chupa Chups to the Italian-Dutch confectionery giant Perfetti van Melle. This marked the end of an era for the Bernats, but it was also the beginning of a new chapter for Chupa Chups. Under Perfetti von Mella's ownership, the brand didn't just survive, it thrived. Today, Chupa Chups is more than just a lollipop. It's a symbol of fun, creativity, and a bit of childhood nostalgia. It's hard to believe that this global brand started with one man's dream and a simple idea: to put candy on a stick. And through the ups and downs, the triumphs and challenges, Chupa Chups has remained a beloved treat for people of all ages. So the next time you unwrap that daisy-covered lollipop, remember the incredible journey behind it. The story of Enric Bernat, the visionary who turned a simple idea into a global sensation. Salvador Dali, the artist who gave it an unforgettable face. And the countless people who've kept the Chupa Chups magic alive over the decades. And who knows, maybe the best is yet to come.